Right, evening folks, how are we all doing? I'm here with a cigar review today. As I mentioned in my new products video I shot the other day, there's some new Filipino cigars available on the market here in the UK. So today I'm going to be reviewing the Independencia 1898 Robusto. This is a handmade cigar in the Philippines. I'll put some information in the description. There was a brief bit of information that I uploaded the other day. According to the information I've got, it's got an Indonesian wrapper, Indonesian and Filipino binder, and a Filipino filler. I'm assuming it's a Filipino binder with Indonesian and Filipino filler. I did have one of the Antonio Jimenez to try. It's pretty much the Lanceros I had, 7" B42. I seem to have left that at work somewhere. Just so you know, this retails in the UK at £7.25 with the new 2012 budget prices. It's got that typical fish food aroma you get with Honduran, Dominican, Nicaraguan cigars. Very, very high in ammonia. Doesn't go through the extra drying process that the Habanos Cuban cigars do. There is some slight spice, but I say it's this overpowering ammonia smell. You smelt it in the drying rooms, in the curing and fermentation barns in Havana. I can't smell a great deal. There's some woods to it, I guess. But on the whole, it's that overpowering ammonia smell. So, construction-wise, it seems reasonably well packed. I don't know if you can see that there. There are a few gaps in there. The cap is a bit flaky, to be honest. Construction-wise, the wrapper looks very, very good. It's not very toothy. It's got some lovely dark veins to it. So I'm just going to give it a quick cut, and I shall let you know how she starts. So I'll be back in a second because I don't actually have matches on me, so just bear with me. So I've cut it. It doesn't seem too well constructed. The wrapper leaf is peeling off already. The wrapper's very, very bitty. It's almost like a Sumatran wrapper, very light and flaky. So construction-wise, they're very, very delicate wrappers. The cold light is overpoweringly ammonia based. There is some woods there and some very, very subtle spices. The draw seems pretty good actually. Could probably do with a little bit more time to ferment and mature. I don't know how well this is actually going to smoke, so I'm just going to light up and we should take it from there. First impressions, quite nice. It's got some lovely sweetness to it. Got a slightly tangy finish. Heavily ammonia based again, as I say. You get this with a lot of Honduran cigars you find it with. But characteristically wise so far, it's quite light. It's almost a fruity sort of fruitiness to it. There's some lovely earth and soils on the finish. Sweet cedars and woods. There's a very, very small amount of dry spice on the end of the draw. But the finish is, like I say, becoming a little bit more tangy, a little bit more fruity. But then it's just got that overpowering kind of ammonia tang to it. I find it's a lot of problem with a lot of cigars wrapped in cellophane. If they're not matured and fermented properly, you get this horrible, and we call it fish food in the shop. It smells like tropical fish food. It's just heavily ammonia based. Burns quite quickly. I've only had a few draws and it's tracking down quite well already. But no, it's a fairly good start. Say some sweet woods. Dry spice on the end of the draw. Start of the finish has got a little bit of spice to it and a little bit of, like I say, soily, earthy kind of flavours. But I'm gonna smoke through the first third of this, and I shall return and let you know how it's progressing. But ammonia taste is fading slightly, so hopefully once the heat gets through, that'll fade that'll fade slightly. It's only the end of the finish that's really letting this down. But this is a wonderful light start to a cigar. My first ever Filipino cigar I've ever smoked. Somebody did send me one once before. It was a bit dry and it's still actually in the humidor at work. But one thing I will say about this cigar is I do quite like the band. It's a very, very big band. It's look pretty good in a picture frame. So, like I say, I'll be back after the when I'm at the end of the first third. I'll let you know how it's progressing, if it's progressing. And get ready for the middle run. So, speak to you shortly. Right, so at the end of the first third, it's growing in body. It's still got an overlying kind of sweet, cedary, woody flavour. The ammonia acidic tang is all but gone. There's still a little bit in the finish, but it goes beautifully with this lovely kind of dry pepper taste it's got to it. There's some very herby notes in the draw, but it's got a lovely, say, an overlying sweetness to it. It is a very, very nice cigar. The body is building. I'm starting to feel it back of my throat and things like that. It's getting quite a more richer, medium-bodied smoke. Most people probably class that as higher, but say being a pipe smoker as well, I find cigars are a lot lighter than I used to before I got into rich, strong English-style pipe tobaccos. There's not a great deal of things going off. I say there's some herby notes. It's still got that lovely kind of fruity, zingy tang to it. I'd say it's got a lot more flavour than your mild Dominican cigars. It wipes the floor with like Davidoff white labels and the Dominicos done by Carlos Torreno. Even the 4x4s and 3x3s by Davidoff. It's got a lot more flavour to it than them. The ash is beautiful. Lovely, lovely white ash. It did fall on me a second ago, but that's how it goes. The wrapper is very, very delicate. I've had a few little cracks have formed into it. I say it's a lot like a Sumatran wrapper, but there's also a bit of like a very thin Cameroon style to it. It's got the Cameroon style and say Sumatran style, grainy, almost sandpaper-like texture to it, but it's very, very thin, almost like a Diolifant San Sumatran wrapper. The flavour does have a very similar taste to a lot of Dutch cigars, but they use a lot of Indonesian tobacco inside them. So the only thing the wrapper's lacking is the spiciness of a Sumatran wrapper. But on the whole, like I say, I am thoroughly enjoying this. So I'm going to crack on through this middle run, see if it keeps building in flavour and strength, and I shall let you know how it's getting on. But started off a bit, say that ammonia tang's still there, but it subsided quite a lot. The dry peppers and spices have really overpowered over the top of that. So I shall return and let you know how this is getting on. But it is getting quite a bit stronger. I can feel a little bit of Lady N buzzing its way through my head at the moment. So she's having a bit of fun up here, and I'm quite enjoying this in the gob. So, like I say, I shall return. Right, so I'm coming now into the final third of this cigar, and boy, is it coming to life. The draw is sweet and creamy as hell. The taste is amazing. I say it's got there's a lovely creaminess to it. It's still got those very subtly herby edges in there as well, but it's a sweet, creamy, a lovely like cedary taste to it. The finish has still got that beautiful dry spice, but it leaves a lovely creamy coating on the tongue. It's not really grown too much more in strength. It's still up there at the back of the throat. Lovely medium strength finish to it. But the finish has got even more sweet, herby, almost floral-like flavours. There's still that subtle fruity tang to it. That little tiny bit of acidic ammonia right at the back of the palate, almost top of the mouth, back of the throat sort of thing. But this has really, really, really come to life in this middle run. The wrapper's still got a cracking issue, but luckily it hasn't broken up. It seems to have cracked along a vein, basically. Could have been me squeezing it a little bit too hard, I don't know. But like I say, this final part of the cigar is amazing. There's a lot of other things going off that I can't quite put my finger on. There's a lot of flavour and a lot of texture to this smoke. It's Still not the most amazing cigar I've ever smoked, but for my first ever Filipino cigar, these are wonderful smokes. I would say if you ever get any, take them out of the cellophane wrapper, put them in your humidor, let them sit, give them a good, I don't know, 4 to 8 weeks to let that ammonia get out of the cigar, get away from it, because that's kind of spoils the first third really. But once you've got through and the heat's got in, it seems to heat it out sort of thing, and the cigar really comes to life. I always say this, I love a cigar to be a story, and I love a finish to a story. And this is amazing. Everything grows, the profile of the flavours, the strength, the texture, the full shebang. It stayed cool and smooth, the burn is beautifully consistent. The draw is easy to start off with, you put a little bit of effort, but it produces a lot of smoke. There's some subtle hints of kind of a bit of coffee, there's a little bit of bitterness on the finish, it's lost the earthy soil-like flavour. I won't quite go as far as saying a cinnamon-like tang, but it's kind of a bitter, almost baking spice kind of edge to it. But I am in love with this. I can't wait to try the other cigars that have been brought into the UK, the other Filipino range. I've got to dig out that Big Lime Zero. It's somewhere in the shop. Somewhere in that shop. It's in the humidor somewhere. It's one of those things that that's mine, so I tend to put them away somewhere. Yeah, I have lots of things I've put in that humidor and never found again. Every so often I find treats. I'll come across something and think, geez, somebody gave me that about 7 months ago. It's just been sat in there. But no, if you get a chance to try one of these, the Independencia 1898, give one a try. It's kind of a cross between a Dominican and a Honduran cigar. It's got the light zestiness of a Dominican, of a kind of a light, rapid, mild Dominican, but at the same time it's got some characteristics of a Honduran that I quite like. Doesn't quite have the boldness and the spiciness of a Nicaraguan. So I say I'd put it a cross between a typical Honduran, typical Dominican Republic style, light, Clara Rapid cigar. Say there's still some characteristics of a good Dutch smoke in there. There's been some Van Heerd Rushdell, I can never pronounce it, that I had. It's very similar style to this, so that was very, very old. It's a bit like the Diolifant, but without the lovely pepperiness to them. But no, I've got this last third to go, and if it keeps building, I hope it hasn't reached its peak yet. I want it to keep going, basically. There isn't a great deal left, like I said, but I do want this to keep going. I really do want to see how far this can go. And I mean, if this size smokes this well, I want to know what the larger format ones are like. So I may have to treat myself. To a box of these. Say very affordable, about £7 in English sterling, should I say, for the Robusto sized. Very, very competitively priced, and they're definitely something to try. So anyway, like I say, I'm going to finish this final third, and I'm going to let you know how she finishes. So speak to me in a moment. Right, so I'm pretty much at the end, and the dynamicness continues. It's still very, very creamy. There's some lovely bitter flavours to it. It's getting quite hot, but so it's still creamy. It's lost the sweetness on the draw. It's very, very bitter. There's some lovely slightly coffee tones in there. Some lovely bitter flavours. The finish is like herbally, florally. Some lovely sweet words. It's very creamy on the finish. The dry pepper and spice has faded. The pepper and spice has faded. The dryness. Been replaced with that lovely bitterness on the draw. This is a very, very dynamic cigar. Starts off very light, sweet and woody. It ends with a big, bold, sort of creamy, bitter finish. There's some still sweet woods there. It's done a full reversal. It's lost that ammonia-y sort of tang as they've been replaced with this lovely, bitter, bitter draw. These are absolutely fantastic, phenomenal smokes for what they are. It's such a dynamic, it's such a wonderful journey all the way through. I do feel like I am going to have to end this very, very soon. I'm getting quite acidic. kind of very, very goopy end, and I say it's burning quite hot, and it's quite strong when you come to the end of this damn thing. It's held up well, even where I was saying it cracked along a vein. That's pretty much all it's done. I mean, I can just peel the broken bit of the wrapper off. It's wonderful. Basically, I've enjoyed every draw of this. It's just grown in, I say, everything in flavour, texture. The flavours are dynamic. It's been a wonderful, wonderful cigar to have, and I can't wait to try the other Filipino cigars that have been brought over. And yes, Mark, Pipe Smoker 1969, I will finally get around to that cigar that you gave to me, that you sent to me after you came back from the Philippines. That was a while ago now. It's got to be 4 or 5 months ago easily. So I will review that one next. That isn't available in the UK, but after trying this, mate, I can't wait to try that cigar. These are spectacular cigars. Say for a mid-range, well, not quite mid-range, just above budget range sort of thing, it smokes spectacularly. Half the price of a Habanos. I've got just as much flavour, complexity, dynamics to it, and strength. So the only complaint, but you get it with a lot of New World cigars, is that ammonia flavour. I feel that these are a little bit rushed. They should be taking a little bit more time with them. But again, I reckon it's the cellophane. It's the whole argument about putting cigars in cellophane. On the plus side, it keeps them a bit fresher, they're a little bit more well protected, you can put them in your humidor, they don't absorb too many surrounding flavours. The drawback is any ammonia and things like that, which are normally breathed out of a non-cellophane wrapped cigar, they just grow inside and they become a little bit too pungent. So I am going to pick up a few more of these, stick them in the humidor, out of the cellophane, let them breathe, give them say 4 to 8 weeks. Might try one after 4, one after 8 maybe. See if they do kind of lose that ammonia edge to them. But that said, it makes up such a small part of the flavour. I'm basically plucking at straws to pick fault with these. But I've really enjoyed it. I've got a lot of nicotine coursing through me. I still wouldn't class this as much above a medium, but like I say, I've got an obsession with Perique and Kentucky and things like that in pipe tobacco, so what I often consider as a medium flavoured cigar, a lot put on medium to full flavoured. To me, a full flavoured cigar is a cane, which makes things like a party gas. I had a D4 yesterday. You know, I've smoked a lot since I last had a D4. I used to smoke D4s a lot. I used to find them very big and rich and strong. And after smoking the one yesterday, it's just like, yeah, do you know what? It lacks the whack of a good pipe tobacco. One thing I have always wanted to do, which I need to get a bit better at rolling and stop buying things in raw leaf or learn how to roll short filler, is I want to make a cigar with some Perique in it, with some very, very strong fire-cured burley Kentucky, to find out how far you can really push those flavours. Because, in fact, I've had this conversation with a few people. I started off as a big cigar smoker, I became a big pipe smoker. I'd always dabbled with the pipe to start off with. I became a big pipe smoker for a while. I've now gone back and I'm hitting the cigars again quite heavily, quite hard. But I am finding that even fuller flavoured cigars are not that full flavoured compared to a full English style tobacco, pipe tobacco. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to wrap this up because this is going to be another long video. So thank you very much for watching, and like I say, if you ever come across or get the chance to try one of these, give one a try. They may not be Cuban, they may not be the most beautiful looking cigar. I like the wrapper, but like I say, I'm a big fan of Dutch Sumatran wrapped cigars, European cigars in general, to be honest. But these are wonderful, wonderful cigars, and I really do recommend you go out and give one a try. So, like I say, thank you very, very much for watching, folks. So see you all very soon. So take care. Goodbye.